my manners. Nice to meet you. My name is Julio. I'll be your tour guide. I hope you like coffee. Shopping. But you had some troubles.
Oh yeah.
There's the tea. So, have you ever seen the Coffee Cherries? Never?
Oh yeah.
Some of you. Actually, you can see in the picture. Actually, the coffee cherry looks like that one's there. The harvest season of coffee here is only 3 months, from November to January. Right now we are at the end of the harvest season of coffee, but maybe we can find a few of the coffee cherries and then you can try them. At the beginning, it doesn't taste like coffee. They taste like a lychee fruit. You get the bitterness during the roasting process. Actually, when you squeeze the cherries, most of the times inside you find 2 beans. You can get 3 or only 1. If you get 3, that's actually pretty rare. The beans, they need to be washed, dried, peeled, and then they are ready to be roasted. We are gonna see the whole process step by step. And also with the beans, you can make the coffee, or you can even plant them and get a new plant. It takes around a month, and they will germinate. You get something like this. We call it a soldier. You can see at the top looks like a helmet. 2 weeks later, you get those small leaves, and the leaves, they usually protect the small coffee plant that is growing at the middle of the trunk. They get withered in 1 week, they fall down, and in around 6 months, you will get a small plant like this one. They're gonna stay in the box for around a year, just to control the root system, and also it's very easy for the transportation. This one, for example, has a year old, so it's ready to be planted. And then we need to wait around 3 more years to get the first production of coffee. So in total it is 4 years. We need to wait a lot of time. So they can keep producing for almost 30 years. Exactly.
Once the plant is fruit bearing, being, how long does it?
30 years actually. For 30 years you can keep harvesting the cherries.
Do you harvest 1 year and then next?
Exactly. It's only 1 harvest a year.
And then you skip 1 year.
Exactly. Well, 1 harvest a year in November, December, and January.
No.
And the next year they have another harvest.
Oh, okay.
For 30 years, huh?
For 30 years.
For 30 years.
Very productive then.
Actually, after 30 years, they start losing the energy, and then they start producing a less quantity of coffee. We also harvest the coffee by hand, and we use a lot of tourists to do that. Out of the harvest season,
Show us which ones to pick, and we're for it.
Julio, where's the pea berry?
the pea berry. Well, let me see if there is any around here. This one you only get 1 bean, on the cherries. No, not that one. This one actually, you can see. Look,
Those are meant to dormant
Oh, a pea berry.
soil rest every 7
it's only
years.
1 bean. People say this one is a very good quality bean.
Yes.
When you get 2 seeds, actually the flavors and the caffeine, they are separated, like in a 50 and a 50%. In this one, everything is
One
concentrated.
bean is strong.
But for me, actually the flavor is the same. What really changed is actually the shape, on the beans. Some people, they sell it for higher prices. For me, it almost has the same quality.
Best quality.
Without being roasted, what kind of, is it bitter?
No, it's tasteless actually.
Raw seed?
It's tasteless. It doesn't taste like anything.
It's a roasting process.
Yeah, some people actually drink the coffee green nowadays. They just dry it, peel it, and grind it. They don't roast the coffee. I am a very good coffee drinker. And when I taste it for the first time, it was pretty weird for me because it doesn't taste like coffee, but it has all the caffeine. So it's basically for someone who doesn't like the bitterness of the coffee, but they like the caffeine effect. You can even brew it and put it in the banana smoothies or cranberry smoothies to get the flavor, well, the caffeine, but not the flavor. Even using you can find it at the drugstore in the small capsules of weight loss products. Speed up your metabolism like green tea. Has something that is called chlorogenic acid. The chlorogenic acid makes your stomach feel satisfied. But it smells green, tastes green coffee. At the end of the tour, if you like to try it, I can make you a little sample. People say it's green tea with a lot of caffeine. Has similar taste.
Is there like people who are just professionally, they taste
Actually,
coffee tasters. Like
exactly.
in India, then tea, they are tea tasters. Right?
People do the same thing, like in the wine tasting competitions, but people have the coffee tasting competitions. You know, same thing.
But how do you determine the quality?
People say the coffee has four main flavors. So there's the sweet, bitter, salty, and acid. You know, but you can find almost like more than 2,000 different flavors in the coffee. You know, so you need to basically train yourself very well. You know, to be able to do that. But at least if the coffee has the four flavors, it's considered almost like a high quality coffee. But have you heard about the three different species of coffee that are right there? Arabica, Robusta, or Iberica. Arabica is the popular one because it gives a very good quality. The problem is the quantity of the production is not that well. Robusta coffee is the opposite thing. It gives a lot of production, so the quality is less. If you don't know, Costa Rica only produces 1% of the coffee in the world. You know, it's in a very small quantity, but in a very good quality. Because here we only grow 100% Arabica coffee. Other countries like Vietnam, Brazil, Colombia, they produce a lot of coffee, but most of that countries, they like to use the Robusta coffee to compete with other countries in quantity and not in quality. If you can see, we are not able to compete with them in quantity. We're such a very small country, so we can only compete in quality, of course. That's why we only grow 100% Arabica coffee in Costa Rica. That's even why the quality is better.
Why is it called Arabica?
Because actually when they were moving the coffee through India, actually a long time ago, there it was the Arabic people, you know, basically invade.
So the Middle East, the kava, they call it the kava.
The kava?
That very, very bitter drink.
Okay, like Turkish coffee.
Yeah, there were two or three teaspoons.
Okay.
Very bitter. That's what we eat.
Yeah, but basically the Arabic people basically still a few of the coffee plants and domesticated the coffee for the first time in the world. That's why it's called Arabica coffee, like the Arabian or the Arabic people. Robusta is just a nickname because the shape of the plant is like very robust, you know. But the original name is Canephora. People call it Robusta for that reason because the leaves there are very huge and also the plant is very tall.
Robust.
Yeah. Iberica is actually from Iberia, Africa. People they don't like to use that one commercially because the flavor is not that good. But the plant is very resistant against the diseases, so some of them they like to grow the cherries and extract the caffeine out of the beans. And we use the caffeine for energy drinks or sodas, you know, just with that purpose.
When did humans start cultivating coffee?
Like
How long did they
1600 years ago, you know.
Okay.
Actually, people say call it coffee because it was discovered in a small city between Yemen and Ethiopia, a city with the name Kafta, because it sounds like coffee and Kafta, almost the same name.
So it's not a New World crop originally?
No,
It's from there. Okay.
It's from there.
Okay.
All the coffee is originally from Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, actually people say back in the days, well, the coffee was discovered thanks to the goats, the animals. The goats, they used to chew on it, the leaves. If you don't know, the whole coffee plant has caffeine. You can make tea out of this. You can get the caffeine effect, but not the flavor. Yeah, and back in the days, they only used the leaves to make like a kind of infusion without any flavor or something. But in Kafta, people, they were keeping the coffee cherries in like a kind of wooden warehouse, but somehow the warehouse turned it up on fire, burning the coffee cherries. Intense aroma coming from the fire, how the attention of the people. That's basically how they discovered the roasting process by an accident.
How happy the goats are, we might as well try some.
The goats were high
Even
up on
people
eating
say
that.
back in the days they don't used to make a regular cup of coffee. They only ground the beans and they used to mix them with wax, making like a kind of energy bar and eat it using like that. In Yemen, the people they start mixing the coffee with the water, making like a Turkish coffee. After they drink that, they start jumping like the goats. It was discovered by an accident, basically. Very good accident.
Happy.
Costa Rica is good to grow coffee because we are in the tropics, you know. Coffee needs rain, sun, and also shades, you know. We get the rain and the sun. For the shades, we like to implement different trees like banana plants, avocados, mandarins, lemons, to give a lot of the shades to the coffee plants. Even the volcanic soil helps a lot. The 80% of Costa Rica is volcanic soil. You grow the coffee in the volcanic soil, you get more flavors from the coffee. Let's say why Hawaii is also good to grow coffee because they have a lot of volcanoes,
They grow on the hillsides or on the plain?
Actually, people say they used to grow the coffee on the mountains because actually the mountain protect the coffee from the sun of the morning because in the morning the sun is pretty hot, you know. But as I say, now these people, most of them, they like to use the trees or different plants to give it shades and protect them from the sun. But if you grow the coffee in the highlands, you get more acidic flavors. You know, the coffee is kind of citrusy, and the lowlands is more bitter. So right here we are at 1,200 meters above the sea level. That's why it's also good to grow coffee. So as I say here, we only harvest the coffee by hand. So in the next stage, I'm gonna show you how we need to collect the coffee. We prepare because we need to walk for 3 hours.
Can't do it.
I'm done here.
It will be 8 hours almost today, right? Smells like jasmine. People like to make perfumes out of the coffee flowers. It smells pretty well. Each flower is one coffee cherry. So the plants during the blossom, it looks beautiful.
It must be very fragrant.
Exactly.
all over.
A lot of bees around as well. You know. In a very good harvest season, you can get almost 4 kilograms of coffee in each plant. So it's actually a lot of coffee. Right? Actually, after we process the cherries, we like to take the pulp and put it back in the fields as a fertilizer. Here we don't use chemicals on the soils, use the natural fertilizers made it from the coffee pulp. We try to be green or organic, sustainable, it would be the best word. Even the beans, they are covered with like a very slimy gel that is called mucilage. A long time ago, the people, they used that layer to make the coffee liqueur because it's pretty sweet. Maybe at the end we can try the coffee liqueur. It's pretty good. I'm not sure if you are old enough to drink that, so I'm gonna figure it out.
You said that the flowers are sweet, so is there any honey thing going on?
The what? The flowers? No, I was
flowers
talking
are so
about the cherries.
No,
They're
no.
sweet.
Once the flowers are blooming, so the bees comes in. So is there any honey bees around?
A few of them actually.
Is there
But, actually, they can use bees for the pollination.
Yeah, for the pollination,
but,
right.
They have self-pollination as well, so it's not even necessary. But sometimes there is a few
Honey.
bee hats actually around
Beehives, yeah.
around the area. This is also the picking basket for the tourist labor. Pass it around, feel the texture, the weight. We are not done till you fill the basket.
So you wrap the belt around your body and the
Around
back
your
of
waist.
there, then you pick with both hands.
Exactly. Around your waist is better because you have free hands.
Right.
With one hand, you need to bend the plant, and with the other one, you need to collect the cherries. But it's better if you only fill the half of the basket and put the cherries in a sack because you can almost put 16 kilograms of coffee in each basket, so it will be quite heavy. You need to be careful with your sack because some other pickers, they like to steal the coffee from your sack.
It's all manual.
Exactly, manual, one by one. You can use machines, but machines, they don't know which ones are the right ones, so they usually pick both green berries and red berries, so the quality of the coffee is less. Also, when you harvest the coffee, you need to twist the cherries and pull them. You need to lift the stem of the branches. If you remove the stem, you damage the branch, so in the next harvest season you don't get any production of coffee, so you need to be very careful with the cherries. The pickers, they don't get paid for baskets or for how many sacks they fill on the day, They get paid by cajuela. The cajuela is our national measure of coffee in Costa Rica. In each cajuela, you can put 12 kilograms and a half of cherries. So if you are a coffee picker, you get paid for how many of those you fill at the end of the day. And believe it or not, they only get paid $2 per each cajuela. It's a very less quantity of money for 12 kilos of coffee. But if you are pretty fast, you can fill one of them in 20, almost 30 minutes. So you'll be almost
$4 an hour,
$4
man. Jeez.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money, but a very good picker, he can get around 23 cajuelas per day. It'll be like 40, almost $50. It's more money, but it's also a hard job. You
Yeah.
can find pit vipers, you need to, sometimes poisonous spiders. Pretend you're working and pretend you're happy. Yeah, smiling.
Okay.
No thanks.
Uh-huh.
Not getting $2 for that.
Demonstration.
Well, if you don't know, you need 80 beans to make 1 cup of coffee. In each cherry you get 2 seeds, so you need almost 45 cherries to make 1 cup.
Wow.
Of coffee. Yeah. And actually, Costa Rican people, we are pretty lazy, so we don't do this job anymore. This job is done by migratory people from Nicaragua and from Panama. It's because if you notice, Costa Rica is an expensive country. If you're working only picking the coffee, you cannot buy all the supplies that you need for the rest of the year. But the economy in Nicaragua and Panama are less or cheaper, so work here for 3 months, you can collect an amount of money. You go back to Nicaragua, you can basically survive for a little bit before getting the money. Some of the plantations, they implement the fair trade, you know. They usually give a home or a house, you know, to the pickers with all the supplies that they need for the harvest season of coffee. When the harvest season is done, they go back to their countries. You know. Even a few of them, they pay more for each hojuelo. But they say they need to pick the coffee in a very good quality. When I say good quality, it's without cracks, because they sort of very berries. For example, here, we try to make our coffee in artisanal way, not in a big quantity. So that's basically the idea. And you can use animals as well to harvest the coffee. You know, in Indonesia, people like to feed the civet cat. You know? The civet cat ingests the coffee cherries and defecate the beans. They pick the beans from the poop, dry the coffee, roast the coffee. So, what can I say? It's poop coffee. You know, they charge almost like $150 per each kilo of that coffee. The funny thing is, some tourists told me that they pay a lot of money for that coffee and it tastes like the regular coffee, you know, a huge difference. I guess it's expensive because it's a different way to make coffee. It's like exclusive, you know. But
Not everybody does it.
yeah, if you go to Thailand, you should try the black ivory coffee. You know, you can even Google it. They charge $2,000 for each kilo. You know, and they feed elephants. If you feed an elephant, you can get more production. You know? Yeah, but I don't want to know how they discovered that coffee.
Yeah, really.
Oh, by an accident. You know? You can see when you squeeze the cherries. There's a big.
Oh, that's okay.
If you don't know the same day, when you harvest the coffee, you need to remove all the layers. And otherwise, the sugar and the cherries start fermenting. So if you leave it for a few days, it will taste
And you
vinegary
plant
afterwards.
those
You know?
and grow another
Exactly.
plant.
You can even wash them, dry it, peel it, and they are still germinating. You know? You cannot plant them after you roast the beans. Coffee for me is almost like grass. You can actually throw those beans and they germinate pretty easily. You know.
So from this they came out too.
They roast the beans with the skin
With the
on?
skin.
No, you need to remove all of them,
Oh, then
and then you're ready to roast the beans.
do they add
So first you have to
different
dry it.
flavors?
No. Actually, here we don't. We just roast the coffee like that. We don't add anything else, you know. Some people, they like to roast coffee with sugar, but when you do that, well, if you can see, when you try to cook with sugar, if you're not very careful, you can burn the sugar pretty easily. When that happens,
How about
you create something that is called acrylamide. The acrylamide is actually carcinogenic for your body. Sometimes people, they like to roast the coffee with the sugar, and it's not too healthy, you know. Coffee is good natural, you know, just like this. They usually like to roast it with sugar because they can increase or the size of the beans, you know, so they can use less coffee to make more coffee. You know. Yeah, but it's not that good. We use machines to process the cherries, so in the next stage, I'm gonna show you the machines that would actually use it. But if you don't have a basket, you cannot come. You only have 2 baskets. You need to fight each other, so I'll meet you. You know, have you seen a machine like this one before?
No.
It was brought from Ohio, US. It's like a 70 years old machine.
70 years old.
And
You don't know your
yeah, actually, they told me there they don't use it for coffee. They use it to remove the corn out of the corn pot. You know? Right here, people use it for the coffee.
We have a lot of corn.
The machine has a cylinder at the middle. You know? If you put the coffee at the top and you press the cherries with the cylinder, most of the times in front you get the bean, and on the back you get the coffee pulp. The machine basically squeezes the coffee cherries. But it has a problem. The machine only separates the pulp out of the beans, not the mucilage, the slimy jelly. To remove that jelly, they had to put the beans in this kind of pots with water. And then they used to move the water with the beans for around 6 to 4 hours, you know. Basically the whole process back in the days took almost 13 hours, you know. The problem about this, it was the water treatment. When the water used to start fermenting and it start getting very contaminated for that sugar, they used to take the waters and then they threw the waters straight to the rivers. So that's basically a problem for the environment. Today, you can still use in this machine, but without this process, or you will get in trouble. We try to be like a sustainable plantation. So to solve that problem, that's why we bought this other machine. It's a Colombian machine. The machine works with electricity and also do the 3 steps in one. Separate the pulp, mucilage, and the machine will wash the beans. per hour the machine can do 400 kilograms of coffee. It's very efficient. You know? Even that one, use the water for less than an hour. You can easily recycle the water and water the plantation with the same water.
Yeah.
So it's very economic or sustainable at the same time. And we only use one machine to do the whole process during the harvest season. We are only 6 acres of plantation, so we don't need a lot of machines. You know. If you don't know, Starbucks, they own a plantation here. It's a 200-acre plantation. It's in Alajuela, like a half hour from Starbucks. So I bet they use a lot of machines and a bigger ones. Funny thing is, in the whole country, we only have 2 Starbucks coffee shops. You know.
Don't worry, we have one on every corner.
Exactly. Well, maybe 2 in each corner. Yeah. But yeah, for
Why are
this,
there no Starbucks here?
huh?
Why are there no Starbucks?
Probably people they don't like their
Oh,
coffee.
right,
You know.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We produce basically, well, every single farm here they like to produce their own coffee, and they
Right.
even has like their own
Local.
coffee shop. So I guess we don't need it, you know.
Right.
Probably, you know. Yeah. In some countries, it's the same thing. For example, Israel or even Slovenia, you know, they don't have Starbucks there as well. And I hear like the last year, Starbucks opened a coffee shop in Italy, you know, for the first
Oh, yeah.
time. You know.
For
It's
American
cool.
tourists.
Have you heard about Pete's Coffee?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's from California. It's pretty good. Yeah, back in the days in the US, you used to have a lot of very good coffee shops, but basically Starbucks bought all of them, so it doesn't exist anymore. Actually, Pete's is the only one that is standing.
We have Tim Hortons in Canada.
Oh yeah, Tim Hortons.
Tim
You heard
Hortons.
about it?
I like it.
I think people are addicted to that stuff.
Yeah, Tim Hortons.
We live in a small town, we got 3 Tim
I
Hortons.
know.
So
Amazing.
we're missing 2 more steps: drying process and the roasting process. Right here we like to dry the coffee in a greenhouse because we're in the cloud forest. We don't know when it's gonna rain, so you cannot put the coffee out. It start raining, and you can damage the coffee. So it's better if you dry it in a greenhouse. Of course, even the idea of being sustainable is basically recycle or reuse all the natural energy. You can dry the coffee with machines, but it's actually better if you use a greenhouse, so you can use the energy from the sun. So it's actually good. Even the next year, we are going to implement a lot of solar panels, you know, to run in the machines with that energy. So be 100% sustainable.
Excellent.
So let's see how we dry the coffee. Today you're able to drink 20 cups, you know, of coffee. Yeah, we charge for 21. Never drink more than that.
So have these been roasted or
No, they're not
just
roasted.
peeled?
Just peeled.
And dried.
Yeah, only dried actually. You need to peel them. You can see another layer comes up.
Yeah, you can.
And underneath there is a coffee.
Is this what you peel or is this what you get?
No, that one is, well, yeah, you can peel it actually too.
So that's like, there.
Actually, that layer, you can dry it, burn it, and use it like biofuel or like ethanol. It's very flammable. Yeah, even the beans, if you notice, they are covered with like a gray, skinny layer. You can only remove that one during the roasting process. Do it by hand is quite hard. But believe it or not, some companies use that layer to make cigarettes. They basically replace the expensive tobacco for the cheaper silver scale. Because when you burn it, it smells and tastes like tobacco, but there is no effect. People wonder if it's healthy. Of course, it's not healthy because it's smoke. But at least it's not addictive. It doesn't have the caffeine or the nicotine. Exactly.
These went way down in size.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're very, very tiny. Actually, it looks completely different than when you buy it at the grocery store. It's because during the roasting process, the beans, they have some moisture. So when you expose the moisture to the heat, the moisture tries to get out and it start expanding the beans. They even pops, like popcorn, quite similar. But if you can see in the popcorn, basically the shape on the corn change, and the coffee, only the size, change.
When they have like chocolate covered coffee beans, do they use these?
Exactly, same beans, but they need to be roasted.
They roast
They
it
usually
first.
use dark roast coffee because it's more crunchy.
So these beans would grow if you planted.
Yeah, exactly. They will germinate. So drying process takes around 2 weeks. Every 2 hours you need to turn the coffee because it has moisture, so it's to avoid mold or fungus under the coffee. So every 2 hours you need to turn it. Because can try to bite it. It's actually hard, like a stun, you know. But it's just tasty. It's very, very hard.
So you want to get it down to the gray.
And you have sugar cane planted right here?
Yeah, we are gonna make some sugarcane juice later.
Oh, great. I like it.
Sugar cane,
I need that.
Related with bamboo.
Everyone needs some glucose here because they're edible.
True.
And they answered our question.
But
Sugarcane.
after this
Sugarcane.
process, we need to age the coffee in a special bag, you know. They're gonna be there for around 6 months. Have you seen in the wine, the whisker, and the rum? When you keep them longer, you get more flavors. It's almost the same thing on the coffee. You can do an aging process for more than 3 years. After that, the flavor will be very strong, the aroma very good, and the price more higher. The problem is here we have a lot of moisture, so it's quite risky. Sometimes people, they were aging the coffee for like 3 years and a half, they get some moisture inside, and then they damage all the coffee. So a year is actually enough to get a very good quality from the coffee. Yeah, it's
Are you able to break it?
reactable bag, so you don't need to worry about different flavors or even insects. You know. Yep. We don't use machines to peel the coffee, we use tourist instead, so we need to peel all of them, you know. We pay 2 cups of coffee per day. Fair trade, you know.
We want to help.
No, I'm kidding, we use machines of course, so you don't need to worry. You know.
We're not worried.
Let's go and take a
Go
look
around
at
the bend, there's a pretty large sized lizard up there.
Start crushing.
Do they sing?
Get that
They sing, right?
That one is for professional people, this one is for
Oh my
tourists.
God, that is heavy.
30 pounds.
I played Aunt
Oh,
Heather
oh.
in,
No, that one is made from Guanacaste, it's a national tree. That's why it's quite heavy.
this is what I was doing in the current.
No, it's to peel the coffee beans.
Turning butter.
Because basically it's mashed, no, the beans. You need to peel it. If
Fatima
you roll
goes
it
for
up like
strength
this, you can
training.
burn the hash. So then you get like a smoky flavor.
She goes for strength training. Let's see.
And they're ready.
Let's see.
You can do it. I'm still trying to earn my keep here.
Oh, really? Good luck.
Is that the
The beans are pretty hard, so you don't damage them, you know. If you can see, you only break the hash out of the beans, you know. This is not the hard part. The hard part is when you need to remove the hash out of the beans. The people, they had the easy way and the hard way. Easy way is actually put the beans in your screen, you shake the screen, and the bottom you get the hash, at the top you get the beans. Hard way is use the wind or blow it.
Very careful.
Like wheat, you know, quite simple.
10 pounds.
And now you have to carry it back to the beginning.
special tactile flavor?
Anybody else want to take?
Like to try to smash the beans.
No.
Go.
I haven't heard of it at all. And I
But,
have one. But in my ears.
There it is. Boom. Done.
1 hour left.
It's heavy.
Yeah, kinda.
Does anyone else want
How long
to
do they
try?
do that?
2 hours around,
For that much coffee?
basically.
Wow.
Nowadays we have a Chromatic 3000 like that one right there. You know?
There you go.
Yeah. Basically uses the friction to break the hash. It also has a vacuum to blow away the hash out of the beans. So with those 2 steps.
So this is no longer used at all?
So
This
so
is the
this
traditional?
exactly to implement tourists to work. You know? Free labor.
When they didn't pay their bills.
So the only thing that's not automated is the picker.
Exactly.
Everything else now is
Those
automated.
machines.
Nobody else wants to try it?
Thank you.
Doesn't look like that much fun.
I was trying,
We all find our joy in different things.
I was trying to give you the
Let's
experience.
go in. Smell the coffee when it's already roasted. That's the last,
didn't bring
the
the
last
thing?
step. You know?
Yep.
Gotta stay in, stay in.
You can see roasting times there, you know. If you remember at the beginning, we were talking about the green coffee that it's not roasted. It's actually this one right here. So if you like to smell it and pass it around to the next person. It doesn't smell like coffee. It smells like grass or it smells nutty. You know? So.
Yeah, it tastes like a glass.
22 minutes to get the lightest coffee, 24 the medium one, and 26 minutes the darkest coffee.
Yeah.
Same beans for all of them, what usually change is the roasting time. Exactly. It's the same base for the blood roast coffee and also for the espresso coffee. Same thing. But as you remember, the coffee has 4 main flavors: sweet, bitter, salty, and acid. The light roast coffee is too acidic, but the dark roast coffee is too bitter. So if you want to get the 4 flavors, you should drink the medium one because it's basically a balance between bitterness and also acidic flavors. Sometimes the light roast coffee is that acidic that you cannot even mix it with milk. If you do it with the milk, it curls. It's like when you mix lemon with milk, you can get a pretty bad stomach. Yeah. If you wonder which one is the most popular one, it's the dark roast coffee because it's bitter like dark chocolate. So it's good to add sugar, milk, make latte, mocha, cappuccino, espresso, different things. You can hear it. It's popping, like popcorn. When it starts popping for the first time, that means it's turning into a light roast coffee. You have to smell it. If you roast it for a little bit longer, you get the medium one. You can pass it around to the next person. I noticed.
This is medium light roasted.
And when it pops for the second time, you get a dark roast coffee. Those 2 cracks, the light roast and the dark roast coffee.
Yeah, I know. That's
Is that the medium?
That's the silver side. It's one of the It is. Just because the product is not that good for your body if you roast it for more than 26 minutes, for like 30, 20 minutes, 29 minutes. Oh yeah.
I like this one. The light one.
It's a good choice. I like to drink it at black, so I usually drink the medium one because it's not too bitter and it's not too.
I like it dark, but it's shiny, pretty.
The light roast coffee has more caffeine than the others. The coffee is like a vegetable. The longer you cook a vegetable, the less benefits and the less benefits. Exactly. The longer you roast the coffee, the less caffeine you will get. The caffeine, it burns away. No, it's not like that. For decaf, you need to use chemicals to extract the caffeine out of the bean. Exactly. But if you can see, it's not decaf at all. Still having 3 milligrams of caffeine. Yeah, the brewing method affects the caffeine on the coffee. The longer you leave the coffee in water, the more caffeine you will get. The caffeine reacts in water. You can see a kind of Coke has more caffeine than the espresso shots. It's actually for that reason. When you make the coffee in an espresso machine, the water passes through the coffee for less than 10 seconds. So the water doesn't have the time to activate the caffeine on the coffee. It's strong flavor.
So you're better off just having a cup of regular coffee if you want the...
Exactly. French press actually is one of the best methods to make the coffee. This is a French press, you get the last one, 95 milligrams of caffeine. On the French press, you add the coffee, water, and you let it sit for a couple of minutes. So the water has the time to activate the caffeine.
What about cold brew?
Cold brew is out of the chart. It has 200 milligrams of caffeine. They let the coffee sit in water for almost 28 hours. The water has all the time. I like it too because with 1 cup is actually enough to wake you up, and even there is no bitterness on the cold brew. It's kind of sweet. That's why people like it. Yeah, but actually when you drink a shot of espresso, you get the caffeine kick quicker than when you drink a regular cup of coffee because the espresso shot is very concentrated. Your body has a less quantity of water to process. It doesn't have a lot of caffeine, but the caffeine goes to the point compared to a regular cup of coffee that is a big amount of water.
What is the process that does the decaffeination?
Chemical process and natural process. Chemical one, they use a chemical that is called methyl chloride. methyl chloride absorbs the caffeine out of the beans. They like to use the chemical. They rather use the chemical because you can reuse the caffeine for Coca-Cola, so they can sell the decaf coffee, the decaf beans, and also the caffeine. For the natural process, that is called Swiss water process, they use the beans when they're green before they roast them, and they put them in water. As you remember, the water releases the caffeine out of the coffee. They leave them there for 24 hours, and after that they use a charcoal filter to absorb the caffeine out of the beans. The problem is you cannot reuse the caffeine. That one is not decaf at all. Still having like 3 to 5 milliliters of caffeine, but it's more natural. So for me, decaf coffee is only business because it's not healthy at all. Yeah, methyl chloride is carcinogenic. You can even find methyl chloride in the paint remover. You can add some. It's not too right here we like to use this method to make coffee. Yeah, you can call it like a pour over, dripper, there is 2 ways to make coffee in this. The first one is take the explosive coffee, put it in the filter, and pour the water. That method is not very efficient because the water passes through the coffee too quickly, so you don't get a lot of the flavors and the caffeine. The best way is take the explosive coffee that you're gonna make, put it in a jar, add the water, mix it, and let it sit for a couple of minutes to release flavors and caffeine. After that, you filter the coffee. Similar like when you make the coffee in a French press, all of the same method. You can brew it for more than 5 minutes. The problem is it will be cold, So it's actually better if you do it only for 3 minutes. And we like to make coffee on this for the material. This is a cotton filter. The cotton is very good to absorb or to catch the ashes and also the oils of the coffee. So if you make coffee on this, you don't get a very bitter aftertaste. When you use a French press or an Italian mocha like this, they both has a metal filter. The metal filter only take away the coarse parts of the coffee, but not the ashes and the oils is still going through. So the flavor in the coffee of this tends to be very bitter. With this method, this is more.
How long can you use that filter?
For almost 9 months. You only need to rinse it out with hot water. If you use soap bleach, you can change the flavors. No soap, no bleach, just hot water. It's basically a soft soap. After 9 months, you can decide if you use the left one or, I don't know, a hiking soap as well. So you get like a cheesy flavor in the coffee. Use 1 tablespoon for each cup that you're gonna make, and also the temperature of the water is pretty important. You need to be 90 to 95 degrees Celsius, but it's just hot water. If we use boiled water, you basically burn the coffee, so the coffee tastes like ashes. Exactly. That's why Turkish coffee is very strong and bitter because they boil the coffee in the water. Right here, you don't need to worry about the temperature. We cannot reach the 100 degrees, only 98.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, we're at 1200 meters. You can reach the 100 at the lowlands, like at 10 meters above the sea. And coffee has benefits. Antioxidants, for example. The caffeine is pretty important because it wakes you up. Even caffeine sometimes helps people with migraines. People say coffee has more than 3,000 different components. One of them is actually the theophylline. The theophylline it's a medicine that the people use for the asthmatic people. So if you have some problems with asthma, I guess it's better if you drink more coffee. So you can do it pretty easily. But people say it's good to drink 3 cups of coffee actually per day. If you want to get the benefits and also the caffeine effect. If you can drink 4 or 6 cups a day and nothing happens with you, it's fine. So people, they are very sensitive against So actually at the end of the tour, you're going to be able to try the 3 different roasts with sugar, milk, whiskey, rum. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So.
Always 5 o'clock.
Exactly.
Irish coffee.
Yeah, I say it. Use chemicals to extract the caffeine. Also like a charcoal filter.
Our daughter-in-law
Men, it looks like bamboo, but I guess it's sugar.
That's what they have at the Vietnamese sandwich.
Are you a chemist? Chemist?
She is.
Really? That's pretty cool.
You're what?
Chemist.
Oh
yeah,
Her father was, so was my father.
she used to just talk to him,
My
but
father
not
too. That's funny.
I used to sell drugs.
Okay.
It's real.
Pharmaceutical drugs, not the kind you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff.
Actually, the largest grass in the world is the bamboo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things.
So it will be considered like the second one, you know.
Anything to make money.
So it's a grass.
Yeah, it's grass. You can grow sugarcane everywhere. You don't need altitude or temperature. Just water and sun. Costa Rica, as you remember, we're in the tropics, so that's why it's good to grow sugarcane. But actually, bamboo is very invasive. This one is not like that, you know.
Son's been trying for 5 years to get this.
Right here, we like to grow sugarcane and coffee together because the sugarcane works like a windbreaker. From November to January, it's usually very, very windy, so it's to protect the coffee cherries from the wind. Grow sugarcane is quite simple. You need to put one section like this, stick it in the ground. In around 2 months, you get the roots on the sides. You know, in a year, in each of those sections, you get a new plant. Exactly. So what's the good thing? For one cane, you can even get like 20. Exactly, like this, in horizontal way, you know, and they grow pretty easily. For one cane, you can even get more than 20 new plants.
But the dirt, the soil has to be real humid. I mean, you have to.
Actually, as I say, it needs a lot of rain and sun, you know. And the only way to know when they are ripe is when you get the flowers at the top. I don't know if you can see, but actually back there, there's one of them is kind of purple, you know. Looks like the corn flower, quite similar. In the same flower, the plant has the seeds. The plant basically uses the wind to spread the seeds around. So you can grow the sugarcane from one section or even from one seed. When you chop them, another one will start growing again. You can keep doing that for around 7 years. After 7 years, we need to do the crop rotation. We need to remove all the plants and move it to a different area because they damage the soil a lot. So you need to put some fertilizers. When the soil is actually cured, you can plant new ones. You need to be careful with the leaves as well. The leaves, they are very sharp. You can do like a paper cut in your skin. That's why in other countries people like to burn the fields of sugarcane just to take away the snakes and also the roots. Sometimes you can find a lot of rattlesnakes, you know, in the sugarcane fields. But do that is pretty bad for the environment. Because the way it puts something in your skin, or chop them one by one. Nowadays, most of the companies, they use machines, so it's actually a way quite easier to harvest sugarcane. Have you ever tried the chunks of the sugarcane? No.
What do you mean? You told me to eat a piece the other day. It would become a straw.
That's right. That's all sugarcane.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was.
Debbie, chew a piece. It'll become a straw.
That's right. That's what it was.
It was in our gin and tonic.
I'd rather put it in the mojitos.
Yeah,
The
right.
cocktails.
That's right, Deb. I forgot.
I did not
to
like it.
chew on it, you know.
It tastes
Chew on it, it's very tasty.
Chew on it like gum. Don't swallow
Yes.
it because it's too fibers.
It's fibrous, but it's very
You
tasty.
can make a toothpick out of it.
Sugar.
Actually,
I'll pass. Thank you.
No, I've had it.
I had it. You want another piece? Listen, then do it again.
You're going to make a straw out of it?
No, just chew on it instead of that.
It's
Oh,
not terribly
this was
sweet.
no.
Taste this stuff.
I mean-
This is totally different. than
You don't
what
need to
we
add
had.
sugar to this. Yeah.
That's really sweet.
Well,
It
that's
wasn't
good.
sweet like that.
Oh, because this is much fresher.
Yeah.
You have to cut off that segment, that little circle that's around.
Exactly. It's very, very hard.
It's real sweet.
They're kind of like a watermelon-y type sort
Yeah.
of.
So good.
There.
This used to be our snack sometimes.
Oh, really?
Like chewing gum and then spit it out.
The juice is good too.
No.
Believe it or not, companies don't use the sugar to make white sugar. To make the white sugar, they rather use fructose corn syrup or sugar beets. Because the percentage of sugar in each cane it's only around like 8 to 12% of sugar. It's almost like 80% of water in each cane. So it's more water than sugar. This is fructose corn syrup or the sugar beets. It has like a 30, more than a 30% of sugar. That's why they like to use it.
Get the
The problem is, well, there is the chemicals once again. White sugar is not too healthy for that reason. They use a lot of phosphoric acid, to extract the molasses out of the crystals. That's why it looks white at the end. And it's like the dick of coffee. They like to extract the molasses because they can reuse them to make rum, or even to make like a type of honey to feed oxys or cows. So it's to sell two products instead of one. Brown sugar is brown, and it's made out of this, You get the same brown color because it's basically like raw sugar, It's just boil it, and they don't use chemicals to extract the molasses. It's even more healthy because you don't have a lot of sugar on this.
So why is white sugar so popular then?
Because it's more sweet, probably, than the brown sugar, Yeah. Actually, later on, I'm gonna give you a sample of the raw brown sugar that we made here, and actually they don't look like crystals, It's actually like a mass. It's actually it's kind of sticky, You can even make
like
a ball
rock
like pretty
candy.
simple. It's solidified, Pretty easily.
What about molasses?
Cookies.
The molasses is it's actually during the boiling process that you create the molasses. It's like a very sticky thing. People like to put it on the roads as well.
Yeah.
And you can make honey to feed different animals, like goats, cows, oxen has well. Yeah. But it's like a caramel. Very sticky.
I'm good.
I have a bad news for you. We're gonna make some sugarcane juice, But I need 3 volunteers. Would like to be Just let me watch this real quick. This one.
Yeah, that's much more.
Anything about them. When we were kids, we would be giving raw sticks.
Yeah.
Then that would be the dessert. You split sticks. And good for your teeth.
It's good for your teeth. It doesn't,
It makes it strong. You have to bite it.
the sugar doesn't erode your teeth at all?
But this is fresh.
Okay.
Not really processed sugar. It's
Okay.
coming from the
Okay,
plant.
and the chewing on it is good for it. Okay.
I know, the moment you think about sugar is always like, right? But this is totally raw.
This is a different product,
Different.
right?
This is just from the plant.
Right.
Unprocessed raw.
This is raw shape. We used to tell that guys used to get that cart, used to tell them to wash the cane, we supply the jug, wash the whole thing there, this one, with the water we supply, and then they run that through the machine and the juice
Where are
comes
the
out. We give
volunteers?
our jug.
He's going to do that.
He's going to do it. You will see.
You like to?
Sure, I'll do it.
And I'll
Oh, there's another one.
you need one more, you guys.
What?
A volunteer.
Hey, she's right there, next to you. Here you go.
So 3 of you.
The machine there is called trapiche. This is the machine that we usually use to squeeze the canes.
Are you putting some ginger in
on
it?
the other side? Yeah, the problem is we don't have ginger right now.
No lemon?
Yeah, no lemons. We are out of the harvest season as well. We usually brought lemons, and I like to
that's
brought
fine.
peppermint as well.
Oh,
It's
that would be
actually
nice,
very,
peppermint, yes.
very good.
Okay.
But what else? I need one of you in one lever and another one on the other lever, and I need a cane feeder.
I'll feed.
Would you like to feed? Oh, oops, sorry, man. Yeah, you need to do the crank.
Anybody else? You have seen this.
for it.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, I've seen it several times, this one.
Will you hold this one while I...
No, you can use both. You can put both at the same
Oh,
time.
perfect,
yeah.
come here. Okay.
Just try to put it in the middle. You're going that way and the other way. Up. Let's go. Push, push, push.
No, he's going the wrong way.
Who's
Yeah,
going
you're
on?
going the wrong way.
You're going the
Backwards.
wrong
I'm
way.
going the
Go
wrong
the
way.
other
Yeah,
way.
backwards.
Backwards.
Ah,
Yeah, that makes it
that makes it easier.
I told you. Learn by doing.
But bring that back and then again feel
You have to
it.
move that thing out.
would he be in
I
harm's
told you.
way?
You want to pull?
Yeah,
Careful with your fingers.
yeah, I got it.
That was just a
Not too
warm up.
much juice comes
Let's
out.
go backwards. And you're going to be the king catcher this time.
Backwards.
Okay.
No, that the other way.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
You should hurry up because the customers, they are pretty thirsty. You know? Juice.
Now there's more coming out there now.
One more.
Go again.
One more time.
You have to fold it.
Well, we're missing 10 more times.
It won't come out that much.
Yeah, the wrong way again.
Opposite direction.
Watch your hand.
Come on, friends. It's not that hard.
Somebody has to hold it.
All that pulp.
It's done, there's nothing in it now.
No, we can do it one more time. Last time.
Still some left in there.
Yeah. Now the other way again.
Let me know when you get tired. You know?
Oh, we're ready.
You're
We
not
can do
tired.
it. Yeah.
You're not tired. You can hold
Whoa,
it.
okay.
Oh, there's more. Look at all that.
Woo-hoo, come on.
Well, friends.
I think you're going in different
Time to
directions
start.
again.
That's why you're doing a different directions. You have to do it in others.
Look at that juice pour out of there. You
okay,
guys doing a great job.
Oh, so he's going in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Wait, you're going in the wrong way?
No, I don't think so.
No, no, it's fine.
I'm right.
Yeah, it's good, right? It's good.
Look at all of it. It's like milk. It feels like a muscle. Really?
Hold on.
You still need to put another one.
It's wrapped around there, that's why.
You got stuff.
He's going.
Whoa!
Surgery.
We were too good
Yeah.
at it.
I used to tell them, this red part, take it out. I don't want that red part.
There it is.
My wife says I'm a bit of a crank anyway, so.
Almost there, almost there. You can pull it.
Pull.
Pull, pull, pull.
But they both go the same way, though.
It's stuck.
Classic tourism, right?
Oh, you have to
Try,
tighten up.
try now.
Oh.
No.
Do it together is easier.
Come on, Alex, you can do it.
Do it together and it's
Ready?
way easier.
Go. Go.
They can't.
Come on.
Come on, friends.
I need 3 glasses.
Let's go.
Good
You
job.
need to put it in?
No.
Yeah,
Now
one
you
more
have to
time.
chew it.
You can wash your hands at the sink if
Gone,
you get it.
everything's gone.
This is called good to the last drop.
Yes.
Exactly. Word. And this is called bagas. You can make paper out of this. If you can see when you remove the juice, it's very fibrous. You can make paper, or you can feed oxen or cows. You need to cut it in small chunks and give it to them. They love it.
That's what they do.
People can also make ropes. Ropes out of this.
Ropes?
Yeah. When it gets dry, it's pretty hard. And also like biofuel as well.
Is there a market for that?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, actually, some people they like to use the lips as well. You know, this and also the lips of the sugar cane. But most of them they like to use it like biofuel, actually, because it's very flammable as well. Right here we only use it to feed oxen. That's all.
How good is the catching for especially rings and everything? Are they fabricated or
Like this one? But this is not.
no, even like a general use?
No, this is made by some indigenous people of Costa Rica. They are called bribris, you know.
Oh, okay.
They're actually on the border of Panama, you know. They do this by hand and they use palm leaves, you know, to do that. Yeah, they're indigenous, so actually their houses, the roof is actually like this one, you know. It's actually pretty cool, you know. Look at this.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot out of it.
Actually has like a darker color
So
because
that's brown.
The dirt that came out.
basically you need to boil it. Boil it. When you evaporate the water, you need to cool it, and then when you grind it, it becomes brown sugar. Same brown color because no chemicals. You know, the problem is from 1 liter of juice, only the 10% is actually sugar. So you need to make tons of juice to make it good. Yeah. Right now it's kind of dark because the sugar oxidizes pretty quickly. You cannot buy the chunks or the juice at the grocery store for that reason. The juice, it ferments pretty fast. In less than 24 hours, it starts fermenting. And the chunks, they turn into a darker color. Like when you open an apple, it oxidizes.
What does that taste
You have to
like?
get it fresh. Sweet. We're gonna taste it.
He did.
What?
No, no souvenirs. I like your shirt.
Thank you.
What's it say?
Game over.
Anyone want another?
Coco, cow.
Doesn't fit in my pocket.
You've had it for that long?
Looks like American football. Go long.
Hold on.
Actually, if you shake it, you can hear the Hershey's Kisses, Cadbury's, milk and chocolate, you know. Yeah. Ready to eat. No, there's the beans inside. You know? Only the beans are used to make the cacao. We have different colors because we have 3 different species of cocoa. You know, you can see them on the pictures. Criollo, Forastero, and the Trinitario.
Ben, you want to see?
Trinitario give more quantity of production. You know, also produce more cocoa butter, but the quality is not that good. The most common ones for the chocolate bars are actually the Criollo and the Forastero. But sometimes people they like to do the grafting on the cacao trees.
Which one, the
They like to mix
Forastero?
different species. You get a lot of quantity with a very good quality in a single tree. People, they are not sure from which country the cocoa is originally from. You know, some of them say the cocoa is from Brazil, other ones say it's from Mexico. We just know that the monkeys helps to expose the cocoa to Central America. Back in the days, the monkeys they used to open the fruits, suck on the beans, spit it out the seeds, and another tree grow up. Very simple. They don't eat the whole bean because the chocolate is toxic for animals. Cocoa has a lot of theobromine and also caffeine. Theobromine releases endorphins in your brain. People call it the neurons of happiness. That's why when you feel sad and you eat a piece of chocolate, you start feeling very, very happy. With the animals, it's the opposite thing. They cannot handle the theobromine in their brains. If you give chocolate to a dog or like a cat, they can get blind or even they can die. That's why the monkeys, they only suck on the seeds. Nowadays you can give chocolate to a dog or cats and nothing happens because they only use a very small amount of cacao to make the chocolate bars. It's like a 20% of cacao and the rest is sugar and milk. Back in the days, the animals, they use a knife to open the fruits. That's why the monkeys, they have 4 fingers.
Oh my God, look at that.
They chop one of them.
Can it taste like that?
It doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like mango, actually. Or like lychee fruit. Quite similar. It's like citrusy and a sweet, you know. Cameras make me so nervous, you know.
It looks like some science fiction monster.
Yeah. Bernie Weaver, where are you?
Have you seen one of them during your trip? Can you taste it? Yeah, sure, actually. If you like to pick one and try it, just don't bite it or swallow it. Just suck it.
Oh, you're so brave.
I have an incredible idea. Taste that one and pass it around. It's the same one.
Is it good?
Don't bite it. If you bite it once, nothing happens. But if you chew it for a while, it gets better and bitter. Like dark chocolate.
Really?
That's a weird feeling.
taste.
But it's good. You can eat that slimy jelly around the beans.
I love these slimy jelly.
That sounds so appetizing.
That was a good catch. Nice.
I'll serve that for dinner.
Go ahead.
I want my hands in your
Alyssa got any knots or else we'll show them the finish.
Yeah, right. Oh, that is slimy.
Oh, it tastes like mango.
Sorry. No, too young, right?
Let's try since everyone is high on my cousin.
Oh my goodness, is it slimy?
Yeah.
Is that on it? You'd like to taste it?
That's why I don't like it. It's lemon, yes.
I know, I want
Just like the monkeys.
And then what do you go?
And they call this a cook.
Not that fresh.
You miss.
Oh, you got one without slime.
I just sucked the slime.
Ow.
There it is. Good, right? Does it taste like chocolate? Now you can see why the monkeys like it. Oh yeah. Each of them tastes completely different. That one was actually the Criollo one, so it's very sweet. The Forastero one is like citrusy and sweet, like mango. So each of them tastes
Yeah, like
completely
mango.
different.
I prefer a Snickers bar, but
Oh really? No, Snickers, yeah. If you're done with the seeds, you can put the beans here for the next tourist.
Yeah.
When we talk about sustainability, we need to do that kind of things, you know, recycle everything.
Recycle it. This one then.
Recycle them. For the next group.
But you can't use it for any other day.
No, you can plant them as well.
Oh, you can plant.
Exactly. They
Put some back in the pod.
What do they do with this makes chocolate?
It's necessary because we need to ferment the beans to get the chocolate flavors, you know.
So within that
fermented.
same syrupy thing that you like.
Exactly. Even people say, well, one of the first people who used the cacao around Central America were some of the natives from Mexico, you know, the Aztec people, Nahuatls, Mayas, the Toltecas. Even they say they discovered the fermentation because back in the days they used to make beers out of this. They first sucking at the seeds and then they spit out the seeds in the garden. They said the bacteria from their mouths basically help the fermentation.
That's what they said.
So I guess they randomly try the beans after the fermentation, so they notice that actually tastes better if they ferment the cacao. You know? Yeah, because at the beginning they only roast the beans, dry it, and well, they roast them, grind them, and when they had a cacao paste, they used to mix that paste with hot water, vanilla, honey, chili, and sometimes they add corn. You know? Back in the days they don't use vanilla or, well, sugar or milk, they use vanilla or honey. You know? They used to call that drink socoal, you know, because it almost sounds like chocolate.
That's how they came the name.
What, sorry?
Brownies.
Actually, even the Aztec people, they used to have a chief with the name Moctezuma. May you hear about the Moctezuma's revenge? You know? Actually, it's because Moctezuma was a chief. Actually, when the Spanish people conquered Mexico, he used word, actually revenge against them, and that's. So people say when some people get diarrhea in Mexico, they say that's why they say that's the Moctezuma's revenge. Diarrhea is basically
My friend had
revenge. But yeah, they say he used to drink around 56 cups of that drink of the gods per each day. It was actually a sacred drink.
wow.
Yeah, they call it socoal. It almost sounds like chocolate. You know?
Yeah.
Even if you notice, the scientific name of the cacao is Theo Broma cacao. Theo means God and Broma means drink or food of the gods. They used to say a god with the name Quetzalcoatl actually comes from heaven and gives them the cacao beans and even the recipe to make that drink. Sometimes people wonder like, what's cacao and what's cocoa? It's actually the same thing, but in English you call it cocoa. Caca is a different thing, so don't you say that. The word cacao in the Nahuatl language, the Aztec language, ca means red, and cow means fire. Red for the red color of some of the fruits, and fire for the big amount of energy that the people had after they eat the beans.
It has caffeine.
It has caffeine as well, you know. So this is only cacao, it's not chocolate. Chocolate is when you add milk or sugar to the cacao. People say it's called chocolate because when the Spanish people moved the cacao from Mexico to Europe, when the cacao reached, I don't know if it was Netherlands or Switzerland, you know, the people there, they wouldn't not able to pronounce that word like cacao, cacahuat, or socoal. So they basically changed the name to chocolate. Choco like cacao and latte like milk. Choco latte. Even in Switzerland, in the year 1800, Robert Lind added sugar to the cacao and created the first chocolate bar with the name chocolate. That's why Switzerland is famous for chocolate.
Do they make anything with the pulp? Since it is so tasty.
You can make alcohol out of that. People like to ferment the beans for 2 days, extract the juice and drink it.
No, in a natural form, like custard or
Like cooking
cream.
with it, cooking with the pulp
The pulp.
as an ingredient.
The white pulp.
No,
The one that you just tasted.
no. Actually, just for that, as I say, beers and that's all, but
Oh,
nothing else.
nothing used.
Maybe you can make jelly out of that, you know, or different things, you know. So, yeah, because it's purple, right? That's why Cadbury or Milka chocolate has that purple color on the plastic. You know? It's because the cacao is purple at the beginning. It's not for the purple cows. You know?
Right?
So if you remember in the coffee, we need to avoid the fermentation. The cacao is weird because it's necessary to get the chocolate flavors. Fermentation is not that complicated. You just need to take the beans when they're very fresh in this line, and we need to put them in those sealed containers. They're gonna stay there for around a week. You need to wait for the last one.
And this is what's interesting and informative.
This is day 3.
35%. Wow.
Day 5.
Ooh, that stuff sounds great to drink.
Smells like kombucha. Vinegar.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's already turning to juice.
Yeah, wow.
That's strong.
Yeah.
You're gonna get drunk out of the smell.
It smells like formaldehyde. That smells like formaldehyde.
Now what is this, just fermenting? This is,
Moonshine.
Take a sniff of that.
this is just the fermenting.
Yeah, that's day 2, I think.
Woo! Yeah, it smells like it's bringing down the flavor.
You can smell it there.
It's a vinegary kind of
That smells like,
Oh, this. Trying to see if I
that
smell
smells
any
good. That
coffee
smells like
smell
whiskey.
yet. Atta girl.
It's getting
It
there.
smells alcoholic.
Yeah, it's a little vinegary, like it's turning.
But this one has a chocolate flavor.
The last one actually smells a little bit like chocolate, you know? Like dark chocolate. It only burns your nose, you know, but
Oh, we
this
didn't
glass
get
is
that
making
one.
it
We didn't get that one.
You didn't get that one?
Oh, you know, I missed that one. That's for good.
Come back this way.
Chocolate to dark one? It has a chocolate flavor in it, yes.
Oh, that's really strong.
It has like a.
Careful, don't
Here,
burn your
you know,
nose.
it's on top. So when you put your nose in it, it smells.
Sue, did you catch a little buzz off that? Did you catch a little buzz off of that?
She's trying.
No, people they don't do that. They only know when the fermentation is done, when the temperature inside of the containers goes down to like 20, almost 10 degrees Celsius.
So when you said it comes to vinegar, so then what process makes it vinegar?
Cleared up
The
my
sugar,
sinuses.
actually.
Yeah, right.
Same fermentation, you know. From the fermentation you get bacteria. So that bacteria create the yeast. From the yeast you get the alcohol and also the vinegar. You know. Yes.
So alcohol is.
Alcohol turns to vinegar.
Into vinegar.
Alcohol goes into,
Exactly.
or the one which we use.
Yeah, and that's why the last one it doesn't smell too strong, you know. Exactly. Than the third one or the first one. We don't use plastic. Plastic is only for demonstration. Most of the times we use huge wooden boxes. The wooden boxes they are made out of the mango wood. Mango wood is good because it's pretty sweet. But you can also use oak because the oak produces vanilla flavors and also caramel flavors.
Just gonna go straight from
Yeah, it's only 5 days of fermentation. Nothing is added. And you can see the fruit that we tried, it has a lot of sugar, so you can make a very good fermentation out of that fruit. If the sugar is missing, you can add pineapple juice, sugar cane juice, or even yeast to make a better fermentation. Fermentation helps to avoid the germination of the cacao beans. If you don't ferment the beans, they probably germinate during the drying process. Also helps to reduce the bitterness of the cacao, make it less bitter and also very good aroma. You can actually compare the colors before and after the fermentation. That white spot is actually the embryo. If you can see after the fermentation, it's basically gone. So you can see the process there. Fresh slime, well, fresh and sweet, you know, fermented and dry and bitter. You know. At the end, it looks like almonds, you know. It looks even better.
So these aren't roasted, they're just dry.
They're not roasted, just dry. We need to dry them for 3 weeks, and we need to roast them only for 5 minutes because the beans they has a lot of cocoa butter inside. If you roast the beans for a longer time, you can burn the butter, so then you get like a smoky flavor in the cacao. So it's only 5 minutes, and that's all.
And the taste at the end of this is still non-sugar, right?
No, it's bitter.
Bitter. You add per pound of how much sugar.
That depends, actually. If you want to get dark chocolate, for example, 70, 80, or 90% of cocoa, for the 90% it's only at 10% of sugar. For 80, 20%, and for 70, 30% of sugar. Milk chocolate, of course, has milk.
So is that why you grow sugarcane and coffee together or something?
No. As I say, no.
You use the sugar
It doesn't work like
chocolate
that.
out of it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. And otherwise, you can have cows, you know,
But
with
they are-
chocolate trees, so you can get milk
But
chocolate.
they
It doesn't work like
But
that.
they're pomegranate, right?
No. Sugarcane is only because it's a wheat breaker, actually. That's all. It doesn't make the coffee more sweeter. It doesn't work like that. It's different. But yeah, actually now we are gonna taste a few of the cacao beans, you know, that has been roasted for 5 minutes. And later on, we are gonna add tons of sugar, milk, black pepper, you know, and other secret things. We're gonna make it bring up the guts out of that, and we're gonna make it taste better. So no worries.
The thing when you're driving.
Back in the days when the people they don't have the machines to ground the cacao, they use a volcanic stand like this one, you know. Basically the machine between 2 stands, melt the cocoa. At the end, they had a cacao paste like this one. You can see the texture of the paste is kind of moisty. It's for the butter, and the color is for the cocoa powder. You know? This is 100% our cocoa. That means the 50% of the bean is butter, and the other 50% is the cocoa powder, the cocoa that you use for the hot chocolate. If you want to extract the butter out of the powder, you need to put this paste in a hydraulic machine. The hydraulic machine presses the cocoa paste for 3 days. The pressure basically squeezes the cocoa butter out of the cocoa powder. It's like when you squeeze a lemon. And most of the companies, they only like to grow cacao because they get more money selling the butter than selling the chocolate bars. The butter is used for cosmetics, creams, lotions, makeups, you know. And you can even make white chocolate out of that. White chocolate is cocoa butter, milk, and sugar. It's not even chocolate. Yeah. Companies they rather use fake cocoa butter, animal fat, palm oil, or even lecithin to make the white chocolate. That's why people say the white chocolate is not too healthy. Even if you use the natural cocoa butter to make the white chocolate, you get like a creamy color on the chocolate. It's not even white.
What is this?
The iron.
Demonstration. Exactly.
No, they separate.
Actually, it looks like a very old stove.
Cocoa butter is not really chocolate, it's part of the cocoa bean, not any of the actual chocolate. Yeah, so it's like, what cocoa butter is the white.
We use this around everything. Coffee, cocoa, corn, to make tortillas. You know, have you tried the Costa Rican tortillas? Yes.
Yeah.
People here say if you don't know how to make tortillas, you cannot get married.
That's most delicious. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Want to smell something delicious?
This is why people say chocolate is healthy.
You have to work.
Exactly, you have to work. You know?
I don't really love chocolate.
I'll eat it.
This is butter.
I don't drink coffee either, so.
Cocoa powder. Remember from this, you can get these two things. You just need to squeeze, you know, the paste. If you like to take a little bit of the cocoa powder and burn your skin, you can actually do it. It smells good, it seems pretty good. It's good to moisturize your skin. All the boys need to use it here. Right? Alone.
I use cocoa butter.
Mosquitoes love it.
No.
No kidding. We have a lot of mosquitoes actually.
It's just an olive oil.
Yeah, that's, they use it in a lot of lotions. Cosmetics. It's different than aloe, but they use cocoa butter to soften the skin. Yeah, put it on your smell it. Yeah, it keeps your skin real soft and.
That's fine, no worries.
Yeah, it keeps your skin really soft.
Secret ingredient.
Sugar.
Can I tell you what it is?
Sugar. Lots of sugar.
No, I brought from Colombia. Actually, I arrived this morning. It's powder milk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What is it from?
Brown
Brown
sugar.
sugar.
Amazon.
Almost.
Fine.
It's a little bit. 50-50.
Cocoa, cocaine.
So as people think that the cocaine is related with cocaine. They're not related. People like to chew it with the coca leaves in the high altitudes. Like for example in Peru, they start getting dizzy. Yeah, it's like a medicinal plant. If you like to try brown sugar, you can do it. Yeah, this is the sample I was telling you. You can see it's not even like crystals. So even if you notice, the Coca-Cola in each country tastes completely different. The reason is that some places use brown sugar to make the Coca-Cola. Other places the white sugar. So it tastes different.
Yeah.
Tastes like molasses. Chili pepper.
Ooh, that's Mexican chocolate.
You're gonna make hot chocolate, you know?
Caliente.
hot water. Just chilling, that's all. Oops, black pepper. Black pepper is to increase the flavors. Salt to reduce the bitterness.
Whoa.
Too much. Cinnamon.
Ingredient.
What is that?
Vanilla.
I don't know, just was there.
Vanilla
Vanilla essence. Vanilla essence smells good, but it doesn't taste that good.
Oh, it smells good, yeah.
Yeah.
And where?
The big thing.
Oh, yeah.
They always smell so good.
Agua caliente.
Agua caliente.
Okay, thank you.
The secret ingredient.
Yeah.
There's some people bumping into molitos or whatever that is in Mexico. What do they call it in Mexico? Molino?
Mole.
No, not mole, not the
No.
chop. The tool to make cocoa, hot cocoa in
This
Mexico.
one?
It's a
Metal?
wooden. Yeah, it's a wooden. No, it's a wooden in Oaxaca. It's a wooden thing. Molino.
Yeah, I know the molino.
Molino. Yeah. That's how they make the hot dogs. It's a wooden. That's a wooden.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess molino is not the right name.
Vanilla?
Molino in Spanish is a grinder.
It whips it. It's this wooden thing that.
Yeah, people call it molino, but I guess it has a different name.
Okay.
But I don't even know in Spanish, Yeah, vanilla essence is usually a 40 to 50% vanilla extract with a 30% of alcohol. Vanilla extract is 100% vanilla extract. Even now, these people like to buy that vanilla bean and put it in vodka for 2 months, and after that they will use the extract. Vodka is good because sometimes it's made out of the potato, so it's tasteless, so it doesn't give a different flavor to the vanilla. And the alcohol is very good to extract the flavors, the aromas. I hope you don't get Montezuma's revenge. I hate this part.
Is your last name Montezuma?
Cheers. It's for sure.
I know it's not the same.
With more water. It's too thick. But well, I like to use the paste for that reason because it makes the chocolate like very, very rich, very thick. When you use the powder, it's kind of liquid, so it's not that good.
No, just have one. They normally don't use milk in cocoa, in real drinking chocolate with milk.
Volunteers when you need them.
Right.
But you don't have to.
I have a question for you.
But it's much thicker and richer.
Where
You would
will you grow a chef?
A chef?
Yeah, chef, like for cooking.
I have a daughter.
Where? But I mean, where will you grow a chef?
This is
The
a joke,
kitchen.
guys.
No. Bakersfield.
Ah.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
That was a groan.
No, he's saying it was a joke. The joke, the question was where do you grow a chef? And the punchline was Bakersfield.
Bakersfield.
That's it. Don't quit your day job.
Yeah. The problem with this drink, it's
It needs more alcohol.
no, I need to try it at least 5 times to make sure if it's good. So we're gonna be here for a while.
And then like 5 times and stuff, it's all gone.
It's not too bitter. It's not too sweet. It only has like a spicy aftertaste, but if you wanna add, yeah, thank you. If you wanna add more sugar, you can do it. It's up to you. I make them. No, I'm kidding.
It's recording now. I'm just
That's a great answer. But do you know which state in U.S. has the smallest drink.
Which state in the U.S. has the smallest drink?
Rhode Island?
No.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Ah, that's good.
Mini. Yeah, Minnesota.
Sometimes it's imposible que dice simple because it sounds like a small
Yeah,
simple.
they're PG rated jokes. Yeah, you
Minnesota.
got it.
Good luck once again.
Okay.
Nick, you want one?
No. Maybe no.
Oh, yeah.
Your face doesn't look like I want it. I saw Donna's face too. Look at her face. It still looks the same.
Now you some milk. I get milk.
It would be good.
It's because the machine is losing ground, they're kind of like very, very fine. So sometimes you can get some pieces of nips.
Tastes like baker's chocolate.
There's more left if you want to finish it.
You're making Ashley do your job.
He went and it's the stuff that he gave us. I think we could like the water.
Yeah.
She had the white milk. I like milk.
Those are for you as well.
Dark chocolate cup.
They were made in China, so you know what that means? They're plastic. Only for demonstration. Actually, the darker one is 70% or coke. Sometimes we put orange essence or water essence. Lighter one is butter, milk, and sugar. And a little bit of rum. Cocoa water, milk, and sugar. White chocolate. This one is a cup covered with chocolate. You can take one of each, and you can even eat the plate. It was made it from chocolate. So there you go, yours.
Is there any more of the drinking chocolate?
Yeah, sure. You want some more?
That was very good.
Yeah. Not bad for the first time, right?
Yeah, first day on the job, you're
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
good.
I'm gonna start tomorrow, actually. Right here.
This and I did one of this.
Sure.
So I get
Yeah.
You have two choices. You can eat them all, or put the rest in your pockets and keep them
I know,
later.
and then a cup of hot chocolate, yeah.
chocolate combined. Coffee detector.
There's some water
tired yet?
in case if you need it.
Yeah. Go enjoy a little bit more.
Those-
Otherwise you will always be out of
Tastes really different. It's kind of, I don't know, more creamy.
Yes, I did. See that one over there?
Dark
I
chocolate,
think this is
70%.
I mean, you don't need a lot of it, obviously, because it's so sensitive.
That's not right.
Have you ever done water? No. You put your juice? Excuse me. Lovely part of the country.
Covered with chocolate.
Did you have one? And that's kind of where all the good cuisine is in Mexico. That's because it's all so indigenous. So Oaxaca is a state. And then the capital city is Oaxaca. It's southeast of the capital.
Okay, so it's really far south.
Really far south.
Is that
It's
under?
on the border, the Pacific Ocean. But
¿Qué? ¿Se puede montar? Seis.
Oh my God.
We'd like to take a ride on the ox cart. I need 6 volunteers. We have a flat tire, but the air condition is pretty good.
Are you serious?
Yeah, serious. Like I'm a cherified.
Into the sun though.
¿Cómo está lleno de garrapatas? If you go over the rope, you can see the front on the edge.
Like, poof on me, Willie.
I heard like the darker one had Montezuma's revenge this morning, so I'm kidding, you know. Sí, I would like to. I need 6 of you.
She'll go.
Yeah, right?
Your wife will go.
Oh, yeah. Katie!
You don't have to ask me twice.
That's the way we were too.
How do we?
Climb on.
Let's step over.
Hurry up.
Sit down at his feet.
Gonna get a ride?
Yeah, we are.
Woo!
want to come in?
Good dog.
You take a
Thanks for your
picture.
visit, by the way. See you tomorrow.
Hold on, don't fall off. I think I got it. I did my best.
Watch the droppings.
Yeah, watch where you're walking. Yeah, you know me big time if I step in that.
Watch where you walk. That'll be a pleasant smell on the bus.
How was it? Yeah.
Tell us when.
Well, this can be your transportation back to the hotel. You'll be there in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Over, you know, so we can over.
Down here.
You can see the other one is pretty young. 6 months old. He's actually a trainer. Because the other one,
Now we have an office in front of them.
Wow, that's
his leg. So you cannot walk.
It's Bessie.
The other one is like a kid now. We have a red as well, so the name is chocolate. Coffee chocolate.
Well, they don't, they're not working.
Back in the days, people used coffee. So say thanks to the taxi driver to give me this number. Yes, it's a him.